The NBA's 65 game minimum for awards sounds fair on paper, but in reality, it hurts meaningful recognition and misunderstands how greatness actually works in today's league. The idea behind the rule is simple: reward durability and discourage players from coasting through the regular season. That goal makes sense. Availability does matter. But the problem is that this rule treats availability as binary instead of contextual, and basketball doesn't work that way. Players don't miss games because they don't care. They miss games because bodies break down, injuries happen, and the season is longer, faster, and more physically demanding than ever. Load management isn't laziness, it's strategy. Sitting 2 or 3 games to avoid a long term injury doesn't make a player less valuable. In many cases, it's the reason their team stays competitive at all. The 65 game rule ignores all of that nuance. Under this system, a player can dominate the league for 6 months, lead in advanced metrics, anchor a top seed, clearly separate himself from the field, and still be wiped out of award contention because he finishes with 64 games instead of 65. That's not rewarding excellence. That's enforcing an arbitrary cutoff. Awards like MVP and All NBA are supposed to honor the best basketball played during a season. Instead, the rule turns them into an attendance competition, and that's a problem because basketball value isn't evenly distributed across games. Some players fundamentally change outcomes every time they step on the floor, penalizing them for missing a handful of games, often for reasons outside their control, distorts reality. This rule also disproportionately affects superstars. Players who carry the heaviest loads are the most likely to need rest. They face double teams every night. They absorb the most physical contact. They're the ones teams depend on most. And the ones who suffer the biggest penalty under the rule. Ironically, role players benefit. Someone can play 70 low impact games and qualify, while a star who plays 64 high impact games is erased from the conversation entirely. That's backwards. The NBA isn't about equal contribution, it's about outsized impact. And when you zoom out, the inconsistency becomes even more obvious. Other major sports don't do this. In baseball, MVP voters consider missed games, but don't disqualify players outright. In football, injuries are part of the evaluation. In hockey, availability matters, but performance still drives the vote. Voters are trusted to weigh context. The NBA used to trust voters too. And by the way, voters incorporate how many games a player played into their voting decisions. The current rule replaces judgment with a checkbox. It removes discretion, nuance, and common sense from awards that are supposed to reflect how the season actually unfolded. Instead of debating who was best, we debate who crossed an eligibility line. There's also a long-term consequence. Awards affect contracts, legacy, and historical perception. A single missed game can now cost a player millions of dollars and permanently alter how their season is remembered. That's a massive outcome tied to a rigid rule that doesn't account for circumstance. None of this is an argument against durability mattering. It should. But durability should be part of the discussion, not a gatekeeping mechanism. Voters are capable of considering games played alongside performance, impact, and team success. The solution isn't complicated. Remove the hard cutoff. Let voters vote. Let context matter again. Good award rules should clarify greatness, not exclude it. And right now, the 65 game minimum does the opposite.